Hey guys, this is Risk here, back with episode number 4 of No TLO. Today is going to be episode number 4, ZvT on Frozen, and it's TLO versus Mystic, who is a Terran player. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So this is going to be on Frozen Temple. This is episode number 4. We've made it past the first 3 days of a series, which is always the hardest 3 days of a series. I think that deserves a... Because a lot of times when you start a series, you start off strong and you peter out, but so far I'm liking the consistency. I get home every day at around, like, I don't know, 1 or 12 o'clock, and then I pretty much make this episode every day. So it's been a good meme of a time. It's been a good time. It's been a good time. So spawning in the upper left corner, obviously our boy TLO, and in the bottom right, his adversary from TSI, it's Mystic. All of these games, I'm like 100% sure are played on EU. Like 100% sure. There'd be no reason for them not to be played on EU. Anyways, Frozen Temple, interesting map for ZvT because a lot of the times the emphasis gets put on the battle for the 4th base up here, this base right here, and a lot of times they'll have the Terran pushing with this high ground, with the Zerg posturing awkwardly over here, and for the most part every game kind of dissolves into this awkward battle right along here, oftentimes the Zerg knocking down the rocks. For the most part you don't see pushes right up into this narrow choke, reason being is that there's usually creep spread established here, and Zerg is pretty comfortable with this position because one thing is that whenever there's a Terran charging up the middle, it's pretty easy to send kind of counterattacks along the sides all the way to the Terran's base. Tends to be a pretty easy thing to do to kind of send those counterattacks along these pathways. But anyways, continuing onward, I say that way too much. I'm going to try to avoid saying that. I say it a lot. That's right. Let's go times 2 speed. Ooh, it's a 9-minute game today. It's a short one. Got a Reaper play going here. Everything is completely standard. One thing that I think is funny is TLO always is moving his spawning pool around. One game he had it back here. Other games he had it on the right and the left. And I think Zerg players are pretty erratic with how they put down their spawning pools. But as you can see in the production tab, we got speed on the way. We got 4 Zerglings, 2 queens. I'm just gonna go ahead and follow this Reaper as he does his business. And we notice our Terran player is getting a factory right here. And CC, everything is completely normal, but he is getting a second gas, so we'll see where the Terran player decides to devote that gas to right here. Let's see this little fight over here. Nice little Reaper micro. For the most part, TLO doesn't lose drones. He makes 4, and that seems to be the agreed upon number. If a Terran doesn't kill anything, a lot of times it's very nice for the Zerg, because once speed is out, that Reaper is dead if he's still going to chill around here. But the main purpose of the Reaper, I have to emphasize this to Terran players, the main purpose of your Reaper is to deny the 3rd for as long as possible. And TLO always does this hidden 3rd drone. I always miss this. He's so sneaky about this. Early on in the game, he tends to send over a drone right up here, and he hides it behind the mineral line. The reason this is nice is because he can sneak the 3rd basin, and TLO tends to like to get it at 3 minutes. That actually is what he's aiming for. I used to think that it was supply based, but the more I watch him, the more I think that it's more timing based, is my guess. It's also kind of after that 30 supply overlord that tends to get made, so that could also be the trigger. The more we watch him, the more I think we'll figure out if he's a timing based player or a supply based player in terms of timings, or if he's just doing it based off of saturation, because a lot of people do it based off of saturation. So just pure drones at this point. Notice that TLO took all of his guys off of gas after he got Zergling speed. This is just like we saw in the previous Frost game. He wants to get as many drones out as possible. And here comes the Overlord Scout at around 3:30. This is a perfect time to come in. Actually, I'm going to mark this down right here. 3:30 Overlord Scout. And I know you might be thinking, oh, that's pretty logical. Like, why don't you know that timing already? I know the general timing, but it's just very nice to have written down that exact timing. And notice here, right at 3:30, not only does that trigger this Overlord Scout, but it also triggers the gas right here, the single gas. Most likely because TLO is guessing that he needs more gas. Well, I'm guessing. This is going to be for Lair or Roach Warren. I'm guessing from the looks of it right here. Probably going to be maybe a Roach Warren. Especially after he sees the medevac tank. A lot of times Zerg players like to respond with a Roach Warren sometimes, but it looks like he's going for that double evolution chamber. So this is I've been seeing TLO do this more and more. He like staggers the building of the evolution chamber, and seemingly his solution to little pushes like this is a lot of speedlings. So we got Widowmine and 6 Marines on the way. Nice little push. He got total vision of everything the Terran was doing. We'll see if he thinks if it's going to be some sort of tank drop, or if he suspects it's going to be the Marine Widowmine drop. Looks like we got a single Spore Crawl on the way, so TLO is a little bit, guessed this somewhat correctly. Let's go to the Units tab. TLO has 4 Queens right now. He has a 5th Queen on the way at the 3rd base. Also notice that he has 43 drones already. This is what happens, guys, when you take your guys off of gas and then put them back on after you have a lot of saturation. He has so many drones. It's insane. Notice the creep spread already starting to get put out over here, and he's going to continue to spread that. And really, he's in a nice spot right now. He's got 7 lings, so this could actually do a little bit, but stim is not done yet. Is stim even researched? Yeah, so there's no stim in this push, so it's not going to be super aggressive. One thing that's interesting to note this game is TLO's Overlord spread was not nearly as good as it could be. He still has this angle covered. I would have liked an Overlord right here. I usually like one on the path right here and over here as well. So I think that was a little bit lacking in this game, but it's not the end of the world. Once again, it's nitpicking. See how he deals with this right here. Oh, and he doesn't snipe the Widowmine. Oh, does get some more damage done on the medevac. Not the end of the world. And TLO doesn't want to do this, but he has to do it. He's putting down the Spore Crawlers for the Widowmines. I don't know if I would have put one down in the main necessarily. It is nice for stopping the drop, but it's pretty expensive. It's 3 drones plus the 3 Spore Crawlers is like close to 400 minerals. And this is, ooh, I think he could have stayed. He was worried about losing the medevac. What's going on the Terran's base? We have a single Liberator being sent out, double Engineering Bay, 3rd CC, and now he's adding on 2 more barracks. So he is going to be looking to take a 3rd base right now. One thing to note is that TLO doesn't have a Roach Warren, so this Liberator is going to be a little bit harder to deal with. But on the bright side, he has Spore Crawlers, which is pretty nice defense. It can get a little bit silly when you're moving stuff around, but TLO taking his 4th base at 5 flat. Oh, he expands so fast. It's something I need to adopt into my own play. He's just so aggressive how quick he takes bases. And I mean, obviously in this situation he gets canceled, but it's fine. He only loses like 25 minerals. It's really not the end of the world. And notice TLO continuing to spread the creep. He's got pretty solid vision. This drop's been annoying, but it hasn't done a crazy amount. TLO is already up to 58 drones. I cannot express. This is what separates great players from your normal players. 56 drones at the 545 mark. He drones so hard, so aggressively, and he's so comfortable with it. And he bats away a lot of the early game aggression very nicely with a double queen and just enough Zerglings. And he has a great, solid vision. It looks like he is starting to spread his vision out a little bit more. Happy with that. +1/+1 on the way. Lair only now finishing. So this is a pretty slow lair. There's nothing quick about this lair at all. And it's mostly going to be for the 2/2 upgrades. I don't see there necessarily being a Spiring. Yeah, it looks like we have an Infestation Pit. So TLO opting not to go for Spire, and you might be like, Risk, that's totally standard. And that is true, but it's always interesting to note, because sometimes players like to go for, whether it be Corruptor or Mutalisk, sometimes players like to mix it up depending on the map, but it looks like TLO opting for this quick 2/2 upgrades, a very quick 4th, all around relatively greedy. Like it seems like a very greedy style, but it also seems very stable. So I'm curious to see how all-ins and pushes do against this sort of play. The creep spread's decent, and oh, 8 more drones, huge push coming. He's gonna have 68 drones. This game is, and look at this nice little counterattack picking off small army. And TLO's supply is about to explode right now. Absolutely explode, as long as he doesn't get supply blocked. Notice TLO has 144 supply. He made a lot of overlords, and it was in preparation for building a lot of stuff. And we'll see how much damage that Mystic can do here. Stimming in here nicely. This is just a nice little Marine timing, and here comes the Queens. Queens are going to be target firing the medevac, and look at this. These are 1/1 lings. Spore Crawlers everywhere. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. And TLO loses 2 drones. TLO loses 2 drones. Absolutely slaps that push down. Notice that he pulled his Queens from the main base. TLO is really good at doing that. And with 4 Queens, pretty easy to actually target fire medevacs in low numbers. And from here on out, TLO going pathogen glands. I like this play, but I also would like to see a hive. It should be any second now. It should be any second. I'm guessing it'll be any second now. TLO getting a little distracted with this stuff over here. Important, but Ultralisks are your game ender. This stuff doesn't really matter. I don't know how hard I can emphasize that. His injects definitely fall off. That's one thing to note, is whenever you pull all your queens, you need to be sure to emphasize the fact that your injects are going to fall behind. You really need to do a good job of getting back on top of those. Some people forget about them. Burrow on the way, +2/+2. TLO, I love when he does this Infestor Burrow play. Hive is on the way. This could have been started maybe a minute and a half sooner, but he's still fine. His creep spread is looking beautiful. He needs to respread in the middle, but he's got his 4th base creep spread coverage is so good, it's almost going to be stupid in a few minutes. It's going to be very hard for our Terran to push here. And one thing that surprises me actually is that TLO doesn't have a bigger supply gap, but this is something that TLO always does. He's not looking to end the game, he's looking to increasingly give himself edges. And once again, TLO asks himself, how can I lose this game? For him, it's losing the 4th base to a big push, so he's putting down spine crawlers. He has the upgrade lead, he knows that. He's getting Burrow, whether it be for defending against drops or for using infestors against the push. He is, oh, here comes more spore crawlers. TLO does such a good job of when he has a lead, he asks himself the question, how can I lose this game? And when he has a lead, when you do that, it's very hard to lose a game when you're a Zerg player, when you're sitting here with 76 drones at the 9-minute mark with Hive finishing. He does it so well. Oh, I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. GG is called, and that was, okay, so in synopsis, what did we learn this game? Well, TLO had a 3-minute, 30-second Overlord scout. He hides a drone at the 3rd base so he can take a 3-minute hatchery. If I was a player researching TLO, I would definitely take note of that, because that's so huge, the fact that he gets out that 3rd base right when he wants it. He takes guys off of gas. He has a delayed gas if he thinks he can get away with it. If he thinks there's a push is coming, he'll take that 2nd gas quicker so he can get the Roach Warren down to stop any pushes. But for the most part, TLO plays very mineral heavy until he has 3 base saturation. He took a rapid 4th base, and he just droned like a madman and pretty much bunted away any big push with nice solid vision. And what a game by TLO. GG. And now we jump back to the camera one last time. The winner of this game, as I awkwardly grab a pencil. One moment. We're here. Got the pen. Don't worry. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. That's alright. The winner of this game. Oh, there we go, lads. TLO. So, thanks for watching, guys. This was episode number 4 of No TLO. This is a ZvT on Frozen Temple. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. And if you have any negative or positive feedback, be sure to hit me up, because I love learning with you guys just as much as learning alone. I mean, I am always of the opinion that if someone has feedback for you, you take it. You eat that up, because that's an opportunity to improve what you're doing. So thank you so much, guys. Have a nice day. Wow, I can't talk. English is hard. Have a nice day. That sounded really British. I was like, have a nice day. I'm sorry. Have a nice day. And thanks for watching.